Hey everyone, how's it going? You know, we've gotten pretty deep into the list when we're doing a video on Seel. Seel is probably not the most well-known Gen 1 Pokemon, so I don't anticipate this breaking any of my Gen 1 view records, but I've been wrong before. In most generations of Pokemon, there are a ton of water types, and Seel is no exception to this. And in Gen 1, water types pretty much, in terms of the TM move list, they're all very similar. Seel does get Body Slam, which is good, but it gets the water moves, the ice moves, and not much else. Unfortunately, its level up moves leave a lot to be desired. I mean, Headbutt until level 30. This is another case of the game not being designed for someone like me modding in a Seel to be your starter. You're supposed to be getting it much later. And so, as you're probably going to anticipate, Brock with just a normal move is not going to be very fun. But first, a big thank you once again to today's sponsor, Boot.dev. Boot.dev is an excellent platform for learning back-end web development from start to finish in Python, Go, and SQL. Boot.dev recognizes that one of the biggest obstacles to learning to code is being bored. So the goal of the platform is to ensure you're not bored and you can stick with it long enough to reach your goals. Coding isn't just something you can learn in theory from a textbook, and Boot.dev understands that by making you write a lot of code and build real projects. Now, I've been trying out some of the courses from Boot.dev, and of course, you can learn the classic Python or Go, but I also learned a little bit of JavaScript, SQL, which is apparently pronounced squeal, and they even have a really interesting Linux course. Now, I'll admit that coding, web development is not something that I have any background in, and thankfully, Boot.dev has some useful tools for when I got stuck. They have their AI assistant, Boots, which can help walk me through and teach me how to do the code without just giving me the answer. But if you do just want the answer, well, they can provide that for you too. So if Boot.dev sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can go to Boot.dev and try out the courses for free. And then you can use my code JROSE11 to get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. Alrighty, so we actually haven't talked about one essential element of Seel, which is going to be kind of relevant when we fight Brock. And that is the fact, even for pre-evolved Pokemon, Seel's stats are, they could be better. Seel's best three stats are HP, Defense, and Special. But since Special is an attacking stat in Gen 1, that's pretty good. If you look at modern Seel, you can see that its Speed, Special Attack, and Attack are all really kind of awful, which is the opposite of what we would want. So that base 70 Special is actually going to come in handy, but right now, we only have one move, we only have Headbutt, and you can see that I'm not even trying to battle Brock yet, because with only one move that's not very effective, I pretty much need to make sure I'm not struggling too much, and I just don't anticipate this going very well, but hey, I'm level 14, it's been 50 minutes of in-game time, let's just see what happens. So, we're 2 levels up, and I mean, if we get crits, that's pretty good. And we can get flinches. That's going to be huge to avoid getting hit. So with these flinches, we have 31 HP for Onix. Onix, however, is a real pain when you only have an attacking move. We are stuck just eating every bide we can, and you can see why I was so hesitant to use Seel at an earlier level. Weirdly, a move like Growl actually would be helpful versus Onix. Leer would be amazing. But yeah, we gotta wait till level 30, hooray. Thankfully, we don't actually have to go all the way to level 30 to beat Brock. At level 17, we do way more damage pre-Defense Curl, meaning we don't need as many crits. Of course, once we get Defense Curl, then we're gonna need flinches and crits. And so we have 8 more HP, but more importantly, we get a crit and then a flinch, and then, well, it took Onix a long time to use Bide. That was kind of weird. Now we just kind of have to hope it doesn't use Bide until the very end. Of course, we can't get any luck, but... Oh, 4 HP left. Maybe? Maybe? Oh, are you kidding me? With 1 HP to spare. That's incredible. That is incredible. Take that, Dougalus. GG, you're cooked. GG, I cooked. think that's how you use that. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I see my YouTube demographics. Y'all are just as old as I am. The only aura points we care about is Lucario and Super Smash Bros. But anyway, moving on. Misty. We do have Water Gun now, but I'm not going to use it. It's kind of ironic that when you get Water Gun, there's very few runs where I'd actually use it at all, because almost always we're going to get Bubble Beam. We got really bad luck versus Starmie with crits. But in our second battle, we also get bad luck with crits. Okay, sure. Go off, Queen. So yeah, as it turned out, Misty was actually a lot tougher than I thought she was going to be. The X defense definitely hurt. But yeah, Starmie just gets a lot of crits. It's a pretty good Pokemon. And all we can do is use Headbutt. Once the X defense is up, we just do so little damage. We're going to need some lucky crits, but we get them. And with 11 HP, we get TM11 Bubble Beam, which is the water move we're actually going to use. It's entirely possible we don't use Water Gun a single time. And on the SSN, we talked about this earlier, Seel is going to get Body Slam. But first, it's got to beat Rival 2. And I think with Bubble Beam and base 70 special, this should be fine. Although Pidgeotto probably is going to outspeed me. Quick Attack is fine. Speed Drop, Quick Attack is fine. And yeah, we got this. We're going to go Headbutt on Abra. Should have done that the first time. Bubble Beam on Rattata. And then against Bulbasaur, I didn't mean to go for Bubble Beam. And now it growled, of course. But hey, we're getting some lucky crits. All right, Seel is pretty over-leveled because of Brock and even Misty to a degree. But that just means that Nugget Bridge and Routes 24 and 25 are going to be a complete joke. So we can fast forward all the way ahead to where we have Body Slam and we're battling Rival 3. So Rival 3 shouldn't be much tougher than Rival 2. In fact, it could be a heck of a lot easier. I actually forgot to teach Body Slam, so I had to use Headbutt against Pidgeotto. And that kind of sucks. Didn't really matter. I mean, Kadabra then disabled it. And actually, that is going to matter because I have to use Bubble Beam. But Disable wears off and we get a flinch. So yeah, gotta remember to teach Body Slam, but who cares? We got the victory, and we can move on to one of the easiest trainers in the game, Giovanni won. Yeah, we skipped ahead quite a bit, but could you blame me for not wanting to battle Lieutenant Surge right away? I mean, we do have a pretty big type disadvantage, and Geo 1's going to be pretty easy. We're at level 32, which is pretty sick. So we have almost all the moves we're going to need, because once we're in Celadon City, that means we're going to get access to Ice Beam. Sadly, although Dugong is an ice Pokemon, Seel is not. So it's not going to get the same type advantage, but still, very useful move against grass Pokemon like Ivysaur and eventually Venusaur. I know it doesn't feel like I skipped Surge for very long, but it actually was quite a long time. And I'm going to go Bubble Beam, knock out Voltorb, knock out Pikachu, and then Raichu. Thunderbolt, see, it is a smart idea. That did around 45 damage. Well, actually did exactly 45 damage. Didn't do around, but you know what I mean there. And so it likely would not have two-shotted me, which is exactly why I waited. I'm just really smart and good at this game. Definitely won't regret saying that somewhere later in the video. I can promise it won't be here. Rival 4 is pretty awful. Ice Beam one-shots Pidgeotto. Gyarados is going to be kind of annoying. Got to go for Body Slam. And then Dragon Rage does quite a lot. I'm only at 20 HP. Theoretically could lose. But Bubble Beam here, I'm level 34. Bubble Beam, oh, I should have gone for Body Slam, but that's okay. And then Ice Beam here. Nice. So close, Rival 4, but I'm just too good for you. Anyway, we don't have much to say, like always, about the Pokemon Tower or anything. And at this point, I could theoretically battle Erica, but since I'm not an ice Pokemon, that would be a dumb move. So instead, we're going to battle everyone's favorite gym leader, Koga. I don't think he's anyone's favorite gym leader. Anyway, we have Surf now because we are in Fuchsia City. Unfortunately, Surf doesn't one-shot Coughing, and it doesn't two-shot Muck. But we have 95 HP, albeit we are poisoned. And in theory, our bulky defense means we might be able to survive a self-destruct. Unfortunately, Weezing goes for Sludge instead twice. And if we got a little luckier, we could have won. So, gonna do this one more time. Surf, X-Attack, Surf is good. Crit would be nice. Surf, minimize, Surf. Oh, there's the crit. Full HP. Surf, X-Attack. So we're at full HP. If we just get self-destruct, I think we win. Toxic sucks, but it could still work. All right, Sludge now won't work anymore, but Smog. Okay, fine. 46 HP while poisoned, and Dugong took 2 tries, beat Koga. We could either go to Rival 5 or in the case of this run, Erica. However, one unique thing about Seel and water Pokemon that know Surf, which they all pretty much will, is that we don't have to get Lapras or go out our way to go fishing, so it doesn't actually cost us any time if we want to go and battle Blaine, which not only is easier because he's a Fire-type trainer, but also will give us a boost in our special. Now, if you think Seel's doing pretty well so far, honestly, kind of is, but Brock was really a huge slowdown. I also took the opportunity to battle every single trainer within Blaine's gym, because why the heck not? And this is one of the few times that not being an ice Pokemon is actually beneficial. So we have defeated Blaine, and now we do have to choose between Erica and Rival Fivel. I don't think Erica should be too difficult, but I may want to test out how I'm going to do against Rival Fivel. 402, by the way, so we're not going to be setting any records here for pre-evolved Pokemon, but maybe Seel could still do decently. Let's see. So based on where I was, you can obviously tell I'm going to battle Erica. I may have gotten you guys twice. Ice Beam one-shots Victory Bell, Tangela, and possibly Vileplume. Okay, that crit may have mattered. But yeah, I knew Erica would be easy at this point. And of course, I battled all the trainers in her gym because Rival Fivel is not going to be easy. Neither the Gyarados nor the Venusaur. In fact, even the Alakazam won't be easy. This is where a lot of pre-evolved runs grind to a halt. So we'll see what happens here. Ice Beam. All right, well, doesn't one-shot, did freeze. That's kind of cool. Now Gyarados, I'm going to go for Ice Beam. Doesn't do that much. Ice Beam. Oh, we got another freeze. That's nice. Growlithe, Surf's going to knock it out. Level 45. Takedown's useless, so we're not going to teach that. Now I'm going to go Body Slam. It does outspeed. I'm not surprised by that. Recover, Body Slam, Paralysis. Ooh, we could have gone maybe really good luck here. But it does have Razor Leaf. Yeah. That's kind of the problem here. And do I just level up a bit more? I'm going to try one more time. I do have Blizzard, but I'd rather save that just in case. Also, Blizzard can miss. All right. I'm going to go for Ice Beam. This time it hit me with Wing Attack. Still doesn't one-shot, but I outspeed, so it's a speed tie. Now I'm going to go for Ice Beam, hoping for a clutch freeze or something. But no, Gyarados is just doing way too much damage to me. I'll try one last time, but I really don't think this is the right time. Unfortunately, we're going to have to battle some Sylph Company trainers. This time we make it to Gyarados at full HP, well, -1. And it goes for Leer, then Bite with no crits. So it's a 3-shot, and we're at 104. This, if there's any run where it's possible, it's this run. So 107, heading to Alakazam. Paralysis would be nice. We do get it. And now 107 for Venusaur. We go for Ice Beam, Razor Leaf. We survive on 3 HP. Was that run a little lucky? Yeah, Gyarados and Pidgeotto cooperated with us. But honestly, a win's a win, and that's a pretty optimistic sign. The fact that we're not that over-leveled, there were plenty of trainers we could have battled, and we were able to get by Rival Fivel relatively pain-free. I like what I'm seeing. The second Giovanni fight, honestly, I don't even know why I show these anymore. I mean, I guess because the odd time we lose, it's kind of hilarious, but that is not going to be what happens here. In fact, we are going to one-shot each and every one of his Pokemon. And now, all we have left to do is actually Sabrina. We have beaten every gym leader, which is so strange. Sabrina leads off with Kadabra. Remember, I'm only base 45 attack. It outspeeds. I'm also 45 speed. And we knock it out. We actually outspeed Mr. Mime, and it's going to be a 2-shot. That's okay. Venomoth, I'm going to go for Surf. Stun Spore misses. That's really lucky because it's a grass move. It's always going for Stun Spore there. And then we get hit by 2 Psybeams. Hyper Potion. We get the Paralysis. Reflect. Honestly, not being hit by Stun Spore was probably the only lucky thing that happened. Seel's doing really, really, really well so far, and I don't anticipate that's going to end Giovanni 3, even though he is significantly tougher than his previous 2 forms. With a water Pokemon, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say, I have the high ground. That didn't even make any sense. As I beat Giovanni 3, let me explain all the reasons it didn't make sense. First of all, I don't have ground, I have water. Second of all, I mean, there's no like elevation difference. If anything, the opponent's Pokemon appear higher on the screen than mine do. Also, it's kind of ironic I would use the high ground when they were on a lava planet and I'm using an ice seal water thing. But finally, within that scene, Anakin was charging at Obi-Wan. Meanwhile, I go to Giovanni's gym and challenge him. So yeah, for all those reasons, the high ground thing didn't actually make any sense. Thank you for coming to my J-Rose talk. Anyway, let's hope that Rival 6 won't be coarse and irritating and get everywhere. I'm going to stop with the Star Wars prequel puns. Pidgeotto does quite a bit of damage to me. I'm at 98 for Rhyhorn with no way to gain back HP. And so I go for Headbutt trying to get a clutch flinch. Then I try to get a clutch paralysis. We actually get it to 18 HP and we make it past Gyarados, which is impressive in of itself. But now we have to fight an Alakazam. Ooh, Reflect could be okay. Yeah, it's going to be way less okay. All right, well, maybe we'll get a crit or something. Paralysis is good. Yeah, that's probably how that should have ended in the first place. We're probably going to have to use rare candies here, which is fine. It just means my power will more than double since the last time we battled, but I'm going to try one more time. Maybe we'll get better luck against Pidgeot. Maybe we won't. We knock it out at 124. Rhyhorn is not a concern. But then Gyarados just, boo, it's terrible. 9 HP. And so we're at Alakazam, and yeah, that went about how I expected. So, I only have 8 rare candies. That means I forgot one, so I'm going to actually go and grab the rare candy I forgot, meaning I probably forgot Strength as well. Nope, I didn't. I just forgot to use it. Cool. For the record, this happens all the time, and something you should know is I should always have 10 rare candies at this point. If I don't, it means I forgot one somewhere, and I'm trying to figure out and troubleshoot where exactly I could have forgotten a rare candy. As it would turn out, it's the one in the SSN, the only one you can't go back and get, but I'm at level 59, outspeed and one-shot Pidgeot. That's a huge change. This isn't, but now against Gyarados, we're once again going to 3-shot it, and I go for Body Slam trying to get the clutch paralysis. Doesn't work. 96, not as much as I'd like, but it should work. Reflect, we paralyze, trying to get, my special fell. All right, this could be a problem. We need a crit or something. Vine Whip, no. No, not yet. Even at level 59, it's not guaranteed. Oh, and I forgot to use the rare candies. That's great. Well, I hate to tell you, I lost so many times that I realized I could probably use some more levels. And there's a bunch of places I could go. I'm going to go to Cycling Road. There's a lot of trainers here, and Seel has a pretty easy time defeating them. For a pre-evolved Pokemon, having to gain a few more levels is very normal. And notice I don't save after using rare candies, so that I gain just a few more levels, or probably just 1 or 2 more levels, than if I'd used the rare candies. And sometimes I'll use the rare candies first if it would make these grinding sections quicker, but in this situation, it wouldn't, so don't use the rare candies. Use them after. Alright, so now let's try and beat Rival 6, this time at level 63. Well, good news, Ice Beam now one-shots. We knew Surf would, but now Ice Beam does too. And Ice Beam also might be a 2-shot against Gyarados. Well, the crit made that difficult to tell. We one-shot Growlithe, and we are not outspeeding Alakazam, but we do... Oh, that crit really sucked. So no Razor Leaf and we win. Well, that was nonsense. I just gotta try again. At this point, I have saved with the rare candies because, I mean, what's the point? We know we're gonna need them. In this battle, I changed strategy. I use Mimic and Mimic Agility, and now I'm gonna not just outspeed, but maybe even one-shot due to everyone's favorite baloney Gen 1 mechanic, the Badge Boost glitch. So long as I don't level up during the battle, which I won't, there is a good chance that I one-shot the Venusaur. That is pretty much the only question I have. As we make it through the battle, I do one-shot the Venusaur. Yay Mimic, yay Rival 6 agility on Pidgeot, but boo, that is the last time we can use that strategy for the rival, because the champion doesn't have a badge boosting move. Now we are at a pretty good level, and we do have at least a good matchup, well, a kind of okay matchup against the first 2 Elite Four members. I don't know how we're going to do against Lorelei, and Lance should be easy, so we might make it to the champion fairly quickly. Let's find out if that's true. Alright, so Lorelei leads with Dugong, the evolved form of Seel. Body Slam isn't doing all that much, and unfortunately, there's a high chance that Dugong goes for rest. Now, since we don't 3-shot, we really have to get a little bit of good luck. Against Cloister, by the way, Body Slam will do next to nothing. I have to go for Surf. And once again, it's going to 3-shot. We get confused because Cloister's just going to go for that or Spike Cannon. Pretty devastating. And Lorelei has some super potions to use. So once we get by Cloister, we're at 88. However, it's at this point we may be able to turn the tide. But for now, I'm actually going to try not using Mimic, seeing if we could win. Just because Mimic strats are slow. We do 2-shot... Oh, well, that Thrash kind of sucked. Yeah, that was a dumb idea. I should have just mimicked Amnesia and just won. Well, I think I'd win. Well, the beginning of the battle is going to be some RNG nonsense. We get a full paralysis. Growl sucks, but this could be one of the last times I use Body Slam. And our Surf... Ooh, that's a good crit. Like that crit. We knock out Cloister, and now we're going to use Mimic and Amnesia. This is going to boost our special. Unfortunately, Slowbro can also do that. So we're going to boost our specials, and once... Actually, I used it one extra time by accident. But once we're maxed out, it's a 2-shot. We should easily one-shot the Jinx with Surf. Crit didn't matter there. And we almost one-shot Lapras. That would have been pretty cool if we did. But Lorelei is defeated. And yeah, Bruno, I don't really have much to say. We're just going to use Surf a bunch of times and one-shot every Pokemon. Even Machamp, although that one probably required a critical hit. Alright. Agatha's going to be annoying. We really don't have a great strategy other than use Surf and Pray. Unfortunately, I forgot to use Ether/Elixir, and she swaps into Golbat, which really sucks. Now, Ice Beam will hit, but it'll do about 50% less damage because we're not the same type. We're actually still doing fairly well, and in fact, I've made it to Gengar a few times. Unfortunately, it's going to require... Oh, it's 3-hit. Okay, that's fine. And I actually think we're going to win. Because this Gengar doesn't have... Ooh, Nightshade. Ooh, this is actually a little close. Nightshade. All right, if it doesn't Nightshade, we win. No Nightshade, we win. No Nightshade. Super Potion. Oh, we lose. No. All right, I got a Mimic. If I just used an Elixir there. Annoying. That's my fault. Alrighty, so this time I have all my power points. Surf is going to 2-shot. Of course, she swaps into Golbat, which is actually good because it essentially gives me just a free hit on Golbat. And after Dream Eater, I get a KO. Haunter outspeeds. It's still a 2-shot. I use Ice Beam, swap to Surf. We're doing really well. These swaps from Agatha are actually pretty good. And now, oh, looks like it's Speed Tie versus Haunter. And now versus Gengar, it's going to be a 3-shot. I have plenty of power points. I am confused and poisoned, but I don't hit myself in confusion. And we're going to make it to the champion, probably. The big question is Gyarados, but if we get by that, we're good. All right. So Ice Beam does about a quarter. Leer. Ice Beam. Leer. Yeah, we got this. And with these badge boosts, we're actually going to probably outspeed everything that isn't Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl goes for Bite. No flinch, and we're level 67. I go for Surf accidentally. Okay, that would have been really bad. Gotta not tap A so quickly, but alrighty. So we've made it to the champion for the very first time. Rival 6 was not easy at all. I can raise my level to avoid leveling up in the middle of the battle in case I want a badge boost glitch, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I'm also going to delete Ice Beam for Blizzard and give some power points. Let's see if we got this. I don't know. It's going to be tough. The first Pokemon is Pidgeot. I'm going to hope Blizzard one-shots it. Sky Attack, Blizzard! Okay, that's good. Alakazam, Psychic, no special drop. Great. Body Slam, no paralysis. Recover, no paralysis. Psychic! Well, that's what happens. Not a terrible early champion, but a loss. A tough loss. Well, our very next attempt, we make it back to the champion. Wing Attack is better. Well, Sky Attack is better, but Wing Attack is fine, especially if Blizzard didn't one-shot. Reflect sucks. No paralysis. Reflect is better now. And we got the paralysis, so we got 3 Reflects and paralysis. Okay, this could be the run. This could be it. We're going to one-shot Rhydon. Easy. Gyarados. I'm going to go for Blizzard. 3-shot Leer. Might be a 2-shot now. Nope. Leer. We might outspeed Venusaur now. Arcanine. We're going to go for Surf. And I think we outspeed, and we might even one-shot. We do! The Leers came in handy, and at a very nice level, our Seel. Seel beats the Kanto region. Not bad at all. But I'm sure the question you have is, how not bad at all is this, or is it even good? The answer is, it's fairly great. We've now done 45 pre-evolved Pokemon, and Seel's level 69 and 557 victory time is gonna put it right within the top 10. If only it started with Water Gun, there is an actual real chance Seel could have found itself maybe just outside the top 5, which is pretty incredible when you consider the fact that Seel's not particularly great at anything, doesn't really have a unique typing, but it is that base 70 special that really just helped it out. And you know, its bulk didn't hurt it either. For once, bulk was actually pretty good. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. There is still one more video to come out in March, so stay tuned for that. I have to now work on it. So I will speak to you all later. Take care.